present for the Queen. It says, it's Christmas in Wonderland and the White Rabbit has lost the Queen's Christmas present. Can Alice help the White Rabbit find the gift, or will it be off with their heads? So let's open this up, and in the first page here we have the Mad Hatter. It looks like Christmas, Alice said, gazing out of her parlor window one cold December afternoon. Snow sparkled in the fields and on the branches of the pine trees. Outside, children were building a snowman. Alice thought about joining them, but the parlor was so warm and cozy. Alice yawned. Perhaps it would be best to stay inside after all. And there she is, reading her book. Suddenly, something hopped across the snow in front of Alice's house. It was a rabbit with white fur, wearing a red coat. Startled, Alice sat up and peered out the window. Why, it's the White Rabbit from Wonderland, she cried. It's lost, the White Rabbit wailed as he hurried past the house. Alice quickly put on her winter coat and ran outside after the rabbit. She got up to him just as he was about to dive into a hole under a tree. Oh, you must let me through, the White Rabbit cried. I've lost the Queen of Hearts' Christmas presents. If I can't find it, she'll have my head. Oh dear, that would be awful indeed, Alice said. Please let me help you find it, but the White Rabbit simply dove down the hole without another word. Alice followed the White Rabbit, leaving her house far behind. As Alice fell, she passed all sorts of Christmas decorations, stocking, wreaths, garlands, and even a beautiful dress tree. Down and down and down she fell until she landed with a thump. Alice saw the rabbit's fluffy tail disappear through the door. She hurried after him and found herself on a snowy path lined with evergreen trees. The White Rabbit was gone, but Alice could see its footprints in the snow. Alice made her way down the path, admiring the lights on the tree. Why, they're fireflies, she exclaimed. All at once, the footprints stopped. I've lost him again, Alice said with a sigh. Lost who? Someone asked. A toothy smile appeared in one of the snowy trees, followed quickly by a purple striped cat around the smile. Cheshire Cat, Alice cried happily. Maybe you can help me. The White Rabbit has lost the Queen's presents and... But that's a loss. What? The cat interrupted, grinning down at Alice. I thought you said you lost the... Who? There's the Cheshire Cat. Cheshire Cat. And Alice. Alice frowned. Usually, she quite enjoyed riddles, but she always had such troubles explaining herself to the Cheshire Cat. I didn't lose a what, she said to the smiling cat. The White Rabbit did, and now I've lost him. Suddenly, the Cheshire Cat disappeared, leaving the tree branch empty once again. I can't help you with your lost who, he called out. But I can help you with your lost what, cried the Mad Hatter. Alice looked around. She knew the Mad Hatter wasn't on the path behind her, so she continued forward. Soon she heard music. Deck the halls with bowls of jello, fa la 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 la. Alice emerged in a clearing. Christmas heralds? Alice asked, confused. Don't you mean Christmas carols? What does carol have to do with Sorry. That one was actually funny. What does carol have to do with it? The Mad Hatter asked. Everyone knows the herald wrote all the best Christmas songs, added the Mad Hatter. And with that, the March Hare and the Mad Hatter began to sing again. Oh, Christmas tea, with milk and cream we drink thee. But that's not how the song goes at all, Alice said, shaking her head. And anyways, I don't have time to sing. The White Rabbit has lost the Queen's Christmas present, and these two are so funny. Suddenly the Mad Hatter jumped in front of Alice holding a teapot and a teacup. Cold cocoa, he offered. Oh, cold cocoa, he offered, handing Alice the teacup. Don't you mean hot cocoa? Alice replied. This reminds me of a riddle, the Mad Hatter said. What keeps your head cool in the summer and warm in the winter? A hat, of course, Alice said. With a twinkle in his eye, the Mad Hatter took off his hat. Sitting atop his head was a large Christmas present, and lying on top of the present was the tiny, sleepy dormouse. There you are, the Mad Hatter said, grabbing that dormouse. And here you are, the March Hare said, handing Alice the present. Oh, thank you, Alice cried. Now, if you would be so kind. But the Mad Hatter and the March Hare weren't listening and burst into song again. Alice realized she would have to keep looking for the White Rabbit on her own. There's the little mouse. Shaking her head, Alice left the clearing. As she made her way through the trees, she saw that the White Rabbit's footprints had reappeared. She carefully followed them all the way to the Queen's castle. As she approached the gates, the Queen's guards grabbed her. The Queen's got a reward out for your head, one of the guards said. The guards took Alice to the throne room where the White Rabbit was busy apologizing to the Queen. I'm sorry, Your Majesty, he said, stammering. I had your present, and then I lost it. The Queen had heard enough. She stood and pointed down at the White Rabbit. Off with his head, she shouted. No, Alice cried, breaking away from the guards. The present isn't lost. I found it. The Queen glared at Alice. Off with her head, she yelled. The King coughed quietly and placed his hand on the Queen's arms. Perhaps you should open the present first, dear, he suggested meekly. The Queen eyed the present. I suppose I could, she said, tearing off the box wrapping. Her eyes lit up as she pulled out a small Christmas tree. As the Queen of Hearts admired her Christmas gift, a large grin appeared in the air next to Alice. Now might not be the worst time to slip away, it said. Alice nodded and quietly snuck out the room. As soon as she was safely out of sight, she began to run, but she slipped on a patch of ice and hit her head. Everything went black. When Alice opened her eyes, she found herself back in her parlor. She yawned sleepily. What a strange dream I've just had, she said. Stretching, Alice looked out the window. Her eyes stopped on the finished snowman. It was might not be the case after all. Together they go on a journey that would change them both forever. Okay, let's go ahead and open it. So we have the two brothers here. Onward. In a world where magic had been replaced by technology, Ian Lightfoot was a shy teenage elf who lived with his mom, brother Barley, and their pet dragon, Blazy. Ian realized that everything we've done tonight has gone wrong. It's gone wrong because you won't listen to me, replied Barley. Suddenly, Dad started dancing to the vibrations of the music. He strutted over to the boys and got them dancing too. With the tension broken, Barley said he wanted a chance to prove himself, and Ian agreed to do things his way. Meanwhile, worried about her sons, Laurel had been to the burning tavern where the Manticore told her about the quest. The tavern owner then remembered about the Phoenix gem curse, which she'd forgotten to mention to Barley and Ian. The only thing that would help against the curse was her enchanted sword, the Curse Crusher. They raced to the pawn shop and managed to get the sword back at an inflated price from the greedy owner, Crackling. Back on the quest, Ian, Barley, and Dad had reached a statue of a raven. Barley realized that the clue wasn't leading them to Raven's Point. It was telling them to go where the ravens were pointing. Sure enough, when they looked in the direction the statue pointed, they could see another raven in the distance. Ian was impressed. Maybe his brother had been right all along. Following where the ravens were pointing, they eventually came to a raven that stood near a river. There was a loose stone on the raven, which Barley pulled out. The strange symbol on the stone gave him an idea. We go to the end of the water, and we'll find that Phoenix gem, said Barley. Ian, Barley, and Dad followed the river into a cave. Using magic, Ian made a raft from one of Barley's cheese puffs. Along the way, Ian practiced other spells. He felt more confident that he would be able to perform the visitation spell again and finally meet his dad. At that moment, Barley shared a sad memory. When their dad was in hospital, Barley was too scared to go into his room to say goodbye. Barley sighed. That's when I decided I was never going to be scared again. The river ended at the entrance to the final gauntlet. Barley said the Phoenix gem would be on the other side. They ran through the tunnel and entered a small chamber which started to fill with water. The boys guided Dad to a portal opening. They climbed through the portal into the sunlight above, but they discovered they were back in New Mushroom Town, right where they started. No, that doesn't make sense, exclaimed Barley. This has to be where the Phoenix gem is. I followed my gut. Ian was crushed. He trusted his brother and it had got him nowhere. Ian walked away with Dad, leaving Barley alone. Ian sat on a cliff as the sun began to set and pulled out the list of things he'd want to do with his father. He was about to scribble them all out when Ian realized something. He'd already done them all, not with Dad, but with Barley. He thought about all the times during his life that his brother had encouraged him, had fun with him, and helped him become a better person. Barley had always been there for Ian. Now Ian would return the favor. In the meantime, Barley noticed that the stone from the raven statue fit perfectly in the old fountain. It opened up and a hidden chamber revealed the Phoenix gem. Ian returned to help, but suddenly a smoky mist poured out of the fountain. It was the curse. The fire-breathing beast stomped toward Barley. Run, he shouted to Ian and Dad. Just then, a dark shape swooped down from the sky. It was the Manticore wielding the Curse Crusher, with Laurel riding on her back. While Laurel and the Manticore battled the dragon, Ian put the Phoenix gem in place and cast the visitation spell. This caught the dragon's attention. Barley wanted to distract it so Ian could finally meet Dad. No, exclaimed Ian, you say goodbye. I had someone who looked out for me, someone who pushed me to be more than I ever thought I could be. I never had a dad, but I always had you. Ian hit the dragon with a spell as Laurel tossed the Curse Crusher to him, and he flung forces the circus train to stop, Dumbo and his mother decide to play in the snow. However, they still find themselves in trouble, and it's up to Dumbo to save the day before the train leaves. Okay, let's see what this one's about. There's Dumbo and his mother. One chilly day, the circus animals were on their way to a new town, but their train, Casey Jr., was struggling to get through the falling snow. His wheels slid on the icy railroad tracks. Finally, Casey Jr. decided it was too dangerous to keep going. The train came to a stop and waited for the snow to pass. Dumbo was happy that the train had stopped. He'd never played in the snow before. He thought it felt very strange as he tried to walk through it. His mother, Mrs. Jumbo, encouraged him. "You can do it," she said. Soon, Dumbo got the hang of walking through the snow. All morning, Dumbo and his mother played in the snow. They gathered snowballs together with their trunks. They made snow elephants and even played hide and seek. But as Dumbo and his mother explored, they got farther and farther away from the train. Suddenly, Dumbo slid down a steep hill. He called after his mother to follow him, but when she reached the bottom of the hill, Mrs. Jumbo realized she couldn't climb back up. Dumbo tried to push, he tried to pull, but nothing worked. Mrs. Jumbo slid farther down the slope toward the sharp edge of a cliff. "You'll have to fly off and get help," she told Dumbo. So Dumbo flew off as fast as his ears would take him. As he soared toward the train, the wind began to blow. It pushed harder and harder against him. Finally, Dumbo's ears got so cold he couldn't fly. He worried about his mother while he waited for the wind to pass. Once the wind died down, Dumbo raced to the train. He gathered all the animals together so that they could help. "What are we waiting for?" Timothy Mouse cried. "We've got to save Mrs. Jumbo." Dumbo led his friends back to the cliff. By the time they found Mrs. Jumbo, the windstorm had pushed her even closer to the cliff's edge. The animals knew they had to think of something fast. "Oh dear," worried the Tramp. "How can we get down there to help?" Timothy snapped his fingers. He had an idea. "Everybody line up," he shouted. He ordered the animals to grab one another's tail. At the front of the line, the ostrich leaned over the cliff to take hold of Mrs. Jumbo's trunk. "1, 2, 3, pull," yelled Timothy. The animals worked together, huffing and puffing, pulling and stretching, until Mrs. Jumbo had made it safely to the top of the cliff. But suddenly there was a loud crack. The cliff side gave away and the animals tumbled down. "Watch out," yelled the hippo. "Yikes," cried the monkey. "Uh-oh," said the giraffe. "Help," shouted the bear. All of the animals stumbled together and rolled down the hill. Before long, they had become a giant snowball. How do you stop this thing?" called Timothy as they zoomed along. The snowball gathered speed until crash, bang, boom, oof. The animal snowball hit the bottom of the hill and broke apart. "Is everyone okay?" Timothy asked as he straightened his hat. Luckily, everyone was fine, just a little dizzy from their unexpected snowball ride. All the animals began walking back to the train. Walking wasn't nearly as fast as riding a snowball, but it was a lot less scary. and Stitch is definitely one of my comfort movies. I love watching it. I have watched it a bunch of times, and I will still continue to watch it a bunch of times. Lilo and Stitch love nothing more than to spend time at the beach. When Lilo's sister Nani suggests the two enter a surfing competition, the three get to work training for the event. But will they be victorious on the big day? Lilo, and Stitch. There they are. It was a hot, lazy afternoon on the island of Kauai. I am probably going to mispronounce the island names here. Sorry. Lilo and Stitch were at their favorite place, the beach. Lilo took pictures and Stitch did what he did best. He caused mischief. Lilo's older sister Nani was also at the beach with David. They were checking out a poster for a surfing competition when they noticed Stitch getting into trouble. Nani and David rushed right over. What is he doing? So cute. Stitch is so cute. Guys, you can't just dash all over the beach causing trouble, said Nani when things were calm again. How about you to put your energy to good use, said David. The Kauai Girl Surf Competition is next Saturday. Nani and I are entering. You should too. There they are. A surfing competition? No way, that was Nani's thing, not Lilo's. Lilo loved the beach and liked to swim, but getting on a surfboard without her sister made her nervous. I don't think so, said Lilo, shaking her head. Beside her, Stitch shook his own head so fast he almost fell backward. Come on, said Nani. I'll teach you both how to surf like champions. Okay, we're in, said Lilo, and everyone high-fived. First stop, the surf shop. We have to rent new boards, said Nani as they walked into the shop. She studied a wall of colorful surfboards. They towered over Lilo and Stitch. Hey Lilo, said Myrtle, a classmate. Lilo and Myrtle didn't always get along. I didn't know you were a surfer. I didn't know you were a surfer either, said Lilo. Anyway, my sister Nani is going to help me surf like a champion for the competition next weekend. I've entered the competition too, and now I'm going to win, said Myrtle. Don't worry, Lilo, said Nani as they left the surf shop. Surfing isn't about winning, it's about having fun, right? Lilo wasn't so sure. She was beginning to wonder why she had agreed to enter the competition in the first place. Oh, right, for Ohana. Lilo felt better once she was back on the beach and Myrtle was gone. Stitch ran straight for the ocean, but Nani stopped him. She had Stitch and Lilo place the board on the sand. You are going to have to get out to the waves by yourself, said Nani. First, lie down flat on your belly, she instructed. Now paddle with your arms. Imagine a big wave is coming, and push up quickly. Plant both feet on the board at the same time, and there. That was good, Lilo. Maybe I can do this, Lilo thought. You're supposed to do that in the water, I think, boomed a big voice, followed by some laughter. It was their friend, Mr. Bubbles. Nani is teaching us in the sand first, said Lilo, but I think we're ready to try it out there. Lilo pointed to the waves and Stitch nodded. Okay then, said Nani, smiling. Remember, if you get knocked down, just get right back up again. Lilo and Stitch picked up the surfboard and headed for the water. They're so happy. Happy. Lilo and Stitch paddled off and Nani followed on her own board. The whole family was together on the ocean. Lilo and Stitch practiced hard that day, but they still couldn't stand on their board. For the rest of the week, Lilo and Stitch focused on Lilo Stitch and Nani won the award for Best Teamwork. The whole family, Ohana, did it together. The special prize was a trophy and a new surfboard. For me, Lilo asked. For you, sisters and Nani. You deserve it, and now we can keep practicing for next year's surfing competition. So cute. But why did they leave out David? He was like, here. Well, I thought he was competing too. Okay, next one is a toy Christmas. When the toys learn that Andy is going to be away for Christmas, they don't think it will feel like Christmas at all. But when Buzz Lightyear suggests they have their own Christmas celebrations, the toys see that they have a lot of planning to do. Take that, Andy said in Woody's voice. You're spending Christmas in jail. He put Ham the piggy bank into an old shoebox with slits cut into the sides. Andy was playing in his room with his toys. In one hand he held Woody the cowboy, and the other was Buzz Lightyear, the space ranger. You'll be seeing bars for a long, long time, Andy added in Buzz Lightyear's commanding tone. Andy's mother came into the room and sat down on the bed. Andy, I have a surprise for you, she said. You know Christmas is coming up, and this year for your big present we're going to the Grand Canyon. Andy dropped Woody and Buzz on the floor. He jumped up and down. Hooray, that's the best present ever. Can I take Buzz and Woody? He said, picking up his favorite toys. I think it's better if you leave them here, his mother said. You'll be so busy you won't have time to play. Now come on, we have a lot to do to get ready. The moment the door shut behind Andy and his mother, the toys came to life. All right, Rex, the dinosaur said as he came out from under the bed. The trip is Andy's big present. This year, that means no other toys to take our places. I was worried Andy was going to get a video game, Ham added. All the toys started talking at once. Hold on a minute, Woody said. Sure, it's great that there aren't going to be any new toys to replace us. But did you think about what else this means? It means Christmas without Andy. Everyone went quiet. Christmas without Andy? Why? Christmas without Andy wouldn't seem like Christmas at all. All the toys looked sad. Buzz Lightyear walked over to Woody. Andy will be gone, but that doesn't mean we can't have Christmas. We'll just make it a toy Christmas. Woody looked at the toys around him and forced a smile. Buzz is right, he said. We'll have a great Christmas this year. But deep down, Woody wasn't sure. It was true that they could have their own Christmas, but without the kid who loved them, it wouldn't be much fun at all. After Andy and his family left for their trip, the toys started getting ready for Christmas. They had a lot to do. They made decorations, practiced singing songs, and looked for presents for each other. Psst, Woody, over here, Jessie hissed loudly. The cowboy found his friend hiding behind a stack of books. Look what I found, Jessie said proudly. She held up a red bandana. Bullseye had been looking for his bandana for months, said Woody. Jessie grinned. I know, it's going to be a great present for him. Come sing some Christmas carols, Wheezy the penguin called to Woody. All right, Woody said. He thought maybe the songs would put him in the Christmas spirit. Wheezy grabbed Mike the tape recorder and belted out Santa Claus is Coming to Town and Frosty the Snowman. But when Wheezy started crooning Blue Christmas, it made Woody think about that he'd be without Andy. Catch you later, Wheezy Mike. Oh, catch you later, Wheezy Mike, he said with the tip of his hat. Woody made his way over to the other side of the room. There he is. the same without Andy. You're right, Buzz said. It's not the same, but you have other friends besides Andy. Come on. He put his arm around Woody's shoulder. They walked past Bo Peep, who was reading a Christmas story to the newest toys, who had never had a Christmas before. Bo winked at Woody, and his heart felt a little lighter. The night before Christmas. Look at the aliens. So cute. Then Buzz led Woody over to the Christmas tree. Etch a Sketch stood by the tree, a roaring fire drawn on his screen. Nearby, someone had set up the wooden blocks to spell out Merry Christmas. Get the lights, Sarge, shouted Buzz. The Sarge saluted and turned out the lights. Here's a little thing I like to call Christmas magic, Buzz said. He pressed the laser button on his arm and a beam of light shone onto the wall. He pressed the button again and again and again. It was so quick that his finger became a blur. He moved the lights around, making a show of dancing snowflakes, sugar plums, and lots of toys. Woody's jaw dropped open. Wow, Buzz, that's really great. I didn't know you could. His sentence was cut short by a jolly ho-ho roar as RC arrived, decorated to look like a sleigh. Following behind him was Rex with a white cotton beard and a red sock hat. Sorry about the roar, Rex said, even though no one had been scared. Sometimes I forget I'm Santa Claus and not a fierce bone-crushing carnivorous dinosaur. Rex went to the tree and handed out presents to all toys. Buzz got a Star Command 4-way outer space signal interceptor. Jessie got a dress, and Ham got a quarter. Then Bo Peep pulled Woody over and gave him a kiss on the cheek. He turned as red as Rex at Chuck's boo, he said. Woody looked at his friends. Buzz was right. Christmas without Andy wasn't better or worse, just different. Spending time with people and toys you loved was what Christmas was really all about. Suddenly, Slinky Dog yelled, "Everyone, check this out!" He pulled back the curtains, and a light snow drifted down. "It's a white Christmas. Merry Christmas," he said. Woody smiled. "Merry Christmas," he replied. And that is the end. Next, we have Lady and the Tramp Lady's Christmas surprise. In the week before Christmas, and Tramp is trying to think of a special gift to give for Lady. However, when he finds the perfect present buried in the snow, Tramp must decide what the right thing to do is. Here's Lady and the Tramp and their little babies, their puppies. It was the week before Christmas. Tramp and the puppies gathered beneath Jim and Darlene's brightly decorated tree. "You all know what holiday is coming up, right?" Tramp asked, his eyes twinkling. "Of course, Dad," Scamp said. He was excited. Christmas was the puppies' favorite time of year. Lots of guests stopped by to wish Jim and Darling a Merry Christmas. However, the best part of Christmas was the presents. The puppies got to help choose a special gift for each of their parents. They love being trusted with such important surprises. "Do any of you kids know what your mother would like for Christmas?" Tramp asked. "How about a steak from Tony's restaurant?" Annette suggested. Tramp shook his head. "We can do better than that. We need to give her something special," said Colette, "to show her how much we love her." "Why don't you ask her what she'd like?" asked Scamp, his voice muffled. He was chewing on a bone. "You want to surprise her," Tramp reminded his son. He nudged them away from the presents. "That's the fun of Christmas." "Maybe we'll find something on our walk today," Annette said. Tramp thought that was a good idea. While Lady was taking a nap, he took the kids into town to look for the perfect present. The village bustled with shoppers, their carriage wheels carving deep ruts in the snow brush and comb sets, bowls, and collars. But Tramp knew that none of these things were the perfect gift for Lady. He wanted to find her something special, something that she would enjoy and that no other dog would have. Tramp and the puppies kept looking into the store windows, and they peeked at the packages that all people were carrying. All they needed was one really good idea. When the sun started to sink in the sky, Tramp turned to the puppies and said, "We'd better head over the alleys and take something from the trash." As they crossed the road, Tramp noticed something sparkling in the snow. It was much brighter than an icicle. He turned it over with a paw. "Holy ham bones," he cried. It was a gold and diamond necklace. "What a bunch of rocks," exclaimed Scamp. "What a good stroke of luck," remarked Annette. "Just the right size for Mother," added Colette. Tramp smiled and then scooped up the necklace with his mouth. They'd found the perfect gift. He knew it would look beautiful on Lady. Suddenly, Tramp felt worried and dropped the necklace into the snow. It sparkled in the ice crystals. He frowned. "What's the matter?" Scamp asked. "This isn't right," Tramp murmured. Then he looked at his children. "Sorry, kids, but we have to return the necklace. It's not ours to take." "But where would we go to return it?" Colette asked. "Yeah, it was just here in the snow," Annette said. "How would we even find the owner?" "I say, finders keepers," Scamp cried. "Police." "Come on now, kids," Tramp said. "We can take it to the police. They'll know who to return it to." With the puppies following, Tramp bounded down the snowy street to the local police station. So happy. Inside, officers hurried around taking phone calls and writing reports. Tramp trotted up to the front desk with the puppies following behind. He dropped the necklace in front of the policeman in charge. "What's this?" the officer said as he looked at the dog and then back to the necklace on the desk. He picked up the necklace and looked at the sparkling jewels. Tramp panted and wagged his tail. The puppy stood eagerly beside him. "You found it?" the officer asked. Tramp nodded. "Good dog," he exclaimed. The policeman took the necklace and began filling out his report while Tramp and the puppies watched. At that moment, a woman rushed into the police station. "Help!" she cried. "My necklace is gone. I'm offering a reward for its return." The policeman smiled at the woman and held out the necklace. "Is this yours?" he asked. He pointed to Tramp. "This dog found it on the street and brought it here." The woman gasped. "Thank you," she said. She scratched Tramp behind his ear. "How can I repay you?" "Woof." Tramp looked at the necklace. "A new collar," she said. "That's it." She took Tramp and the puppies to the store next door. Tramp walked up to the counter and picked up a gold collar with green stones that looked just like the woman's necklace. "I'll take that one," the woman told the storekeeper. So basically the woman bought the same necklace. Christmas morning came and the family gathered to open presents. Jim and Darlene sat back and watched as the dogs sniffed each of the gifts wrapped parcels. Lady tore open the wrapping on her gift. As the paper fell away, her face lit up. "You shouldn't have," she cried. Her eyes sparkled. Lady dipped her head as Darlene reached for her to fasten the collar around her neck. As the collar snapped into place, worry about dusting up there, she said. Those are my ancestors' talismans, so it's best not to go near them. She waved and added, hello, great, 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 great Auntie Panda Spirits. Whoa, said Bria and Miriam, eyeing the talismans. Abby, who wasn't paying attention, finally chose a four-tone song and turned up the volume. With the music cranked up, the friends danced and sang their way through dusting, mopping, and cleaning. They had almost finished when Abby noticed the shelf with the talismans. Filthy, she exclaimed as she began to clean the shelf. A thick cloud of dust tickled her nose and she started to sneeze. Ah. Medium and Bria ran toward Abby, trying to stop a catastrophe, but shoo. Abby's gigantic sneeze knocked the talismans off the shelf. Medium and Bria tried to catch them, but they were too late. The talisman fell to the floor and shattered. The girls gasped and watched in shock as 3 red panda spirits spiraled up into the air. The 3 spirits floated toward their friends. The first found Medium. Poof. The second found Bria. Poof. And the third found Abby. Poof. She's swimming with us. Oh, well, I guess they're all kind of like happy, excited. OMG, you guys look amazing, said May. She was so excited she poofed into a red panda herself. How did this happen? Asked Medium in shock. I guess with my great aunties gone, the panda spirits went into whoever was nearby, explained May. Which was you guys. We need a group hug, said Abby, wrapping her arms around her friends. After their furry embrace, May decided to give her bestie some pointers. To return to your human form, you need to learn how to calm down. Relax. Abby stopped her. No, wait. I won't repress my panda. I want to let it roar. Medium and Bria agreed. Can we just keep them for the night? Asked Medium. Okay, said May. But if we're going to do this, we're going to do this right. Do you realize who we are? Team Panda, Toronto's greatest defenders. We cleaned the temple, now we clean up this town, exclaimed May. Fighting crime and earning more blessings. Let's panda up, girls, exclaimed Medium. Panda up, they all shouted as they struck a superhero pose. The friends headed into the city, ready ourselves to some chips. More down for Eva, said Priya, snapping selfies with Jessie. Robert put on some music, and Medium and May danced and sang along. What is this name right here? Robert, right? I don't even know. When it was time for the show, they sat in the very front row, cheering with the crowd. Four down, four down, four down. The band began to sing, and their incredible music filled the air. The band of friends wished the night would never end. After Four Down performed the last song, Team Panda said goodbye and walked home, feeling like they were floating on air. Best night ever, said Abby. They all agreed, but soon Medium, Priya, and Abby began to wonder how long they would be red pandas for. Do we have to wait for the red moon to release these panda spirits? Asked Priya. May thought a moment and said, let's ask Sun Yi. They went back to the temple and sat together in the courtyard. May asked Sun Yi to guide the panda spirits back to their ancestors. Poof. Suddenly the red panda spirits left Medium's, Priya's, and Abby's bodies. They hovered in midair for only a moment before soaring up toward the moon with the whoosh. The girls smiled, watching the spirits disappear into the night, hoping that one day they'd be able to band up together again. That is the end of Panda Up. Okay, now we're down to the last one, which is Disney Pixar's Lightyear Bug Trouble. Buzz Lightyear and his team of Space Rangers embark on their first mission together as they head to their planet's dark side, when they discover a mysterious purple orb and a host of unfriendly bugs. They soon discover that everything is not quite as it seems. It was still dark when Commander Burnside gave the order, "Give me the Universe Protection Division of the Space Ranger Corps." Well, that was a lot of words. Give me the Universe Protection Division of the Space Ranger Corps. Socks, let's gather the team, Captain Buzz said to his robot cat. They quickly found Izzy, Mo, and Darby, and together the team strode across the Star Command base. I can't believe it, Izzy said excitedly. It's our first official mission as Space Rangers. I know you're all anxious to show what you can do, Buzz said, but remember, you still have a lot to learn. You'll need to be alert and ready for anything. Just then, a long vine wrapped around Mo and dragged him away from his friends. Now that's exactly what I'm talking about, Buzz said. Can anyone tell me what you should do in a case like this? Anyone? Darby opened her mouth, but Buzz stopped her. Something that doesn't include a weapon. She frowned and shook her head. Buzz walked to the vine and stomped down hard on the slithery arm. The vine released its grip on Mo. See? Nice and easy, Buzz explained. That's how a Space Ranger approaches a mission. Thanks, Buzz, Mo said, rising to his feet. A few minutes later, the Space Rangers reached the large hangar on the edge of the base. There you are, right on time, Commander Burnside said. Captain Lightyear, we have an urgent need for you and your squad. We're ready for your help. Oh, we're ready to help, Buzz said. More than ready, Izzy added eagerly. An unidentified object was detected a short while ago, hurtling toward the planet's dark side. Commander Burnside said, your mission is to investigate this unidentified object and report back. passing out sandwiches for a pre-mission snack. Remember, Buzz said as he started the pre-flight sequence. Stay close and work together. A voice came over the ship's communication system. Space Rangers, you are clear for launch on T-minus 3, 2, 1. The Space Rangers blasted off into space. The ship is flying a lot smoother than usual, said E.T. Must be the new engines, replied Buzz. A short while later, the ship landed on the dark side. All right, Universe Protection Division, let's review the mission, Buzz said. But Mo was already out of his seat. He opened the ship hatch and bolted outside. Let's go identify that unidentified object, he said, his voice fading in the distance. Darby rolled her eyes and went after him as Socks, Izzy, and Buzz followed. Hey, Buzz shouted after Mo. You were supposed to wait until we finished the mission review. Yeah, Darby shouted. What happened to doing everything by the book? Sorry, Darby, Mo said, shrugging at a shallow trench carved into the soil. At the end of that trench was a glowing purple orb. What do you think it is? Mo asked. No idea, Darby replied. As the two Space Rangers pondered the unidentified object, neither noticed the ominous shapes slowly approaching in the sky behind them. At the last second, Darby heard a high-pitched buzzing sound. Mo, get down, she shouted, pushing her friend into the dirt. Suddenly, bugs were upon them. The bugs swarmed around them, and Mo wasn't sure what to do next. Any ideas? He asked. Not really, Darby said, checking her suit. All we have are the standard issued flares that come with their Space Ranger uniforms. Everything else is still on the ship. That's not good, Mo replied. Over there, Buzz, I see something. Mo heard Izzy's voice and looked up. Izzy was running towards them with Buzz by her side. They had shields and laser blades drawn, and they waved them around, driving the bugs away from Mo and Darby. Meow, meow, meow. It looks like you require some assistance, Sock said, zipping in on his rocket pack. As the bugs backed off, Buzz approached Mo and Darby with a stern look on his face. Just as he was about to speak, Izzy jumped in front of him and said, You can't just run off on your own like that, Mo. You either, Darby. We're a team, and we have to stick together. Realizing that she had cut Buzz off, Izzy gave him a sheepish look. Right, Buzz? knew it wasn't real all along, Izzy asked Buzz. He nodded. The training mission had to feel as real as possible. We may have